If you've posted to Instagram over the last few months, Meta's AI has already analyzed your photos without asking permission. And this week, that feature just got deleted. Meta announced it was pulling a controversial AI system from Instagram after widespread backlash from users and privacy advocates. Here's the thing that makes this story unusual. A tech giant actually admitted it went too far and reversed course. That almost never happens. Tech companies usually defend their AI systems, argue they are necessary, and dig in harder. Not this time. Meta looked at the pressure building from regulators, journalists, privacy groups, and ordinary users, and decided the feature wasn't worth the damage to its reputation. The company removed it entirely and issued an apology acknowledging that the way the AI ran in the background without clear user consent crossed a line. What's remarkable about this moment is what it tells us about the actual power we have as users. If enough of us push back, if enough journalists expose how these systems work, if enough regulatory attention focuses on a company, even Meta will listen. This video breaks down exactly what the AI was doing, why people found it so invasive, and what this means for the future of artificial intelligence on social media. To understand why Meta created this AI feature in the first place, you need to know what's happening inside every social media company right now. The basic economics of platforms like Instagram are straightforward. The better Meta understands what you want to see, the longer you stay on the app, and the more ads Meta can show you. Engagement is currency. So Meta's engineers built an AI system designed to analyze every single photo you post, extracting visual information, the people in it, the objects, the location context, the colors, everything. The idea was brilliant from a business perspective. This AI could improve recommendations by understanding not just what you click, but what's actually happening in the photos you upload. It could also power automated content moderation by automatically flagging potentially harmful images. On paper, it sounded like a win for both safety and user experience. Here's where it gets tricky though. Meta implemented this system to run automatically in the background on all posts, regardless of whether individual users had explicitly opted into this kind of analysis. The company assumed the general terms of service buried in settings were sufficient permission. For Meta, this was a routine technical decision, a logical step in making Instagram smarter. But for millions of users who discovered how invasive this analysis was, it felt like a violation of trust. Let me explain what this AI system actually did behind the scenes. Meta's feature was built on image recognition technology, the same kind of AI that lets your phone automatically organize photos by detecting faces or objects. When you uploaded a photo to Instagram, Meta's AI would scan it instantly. It identified people in the image, their approximate ages and expressions. It detected objects and scenes, what room you're in. Whether you're at a beach or a coffee shop, if there are recognizable brands or logos visible. The AI even analyzed metadata like location tags and timestamps. All of this happened in the background, in milliseconds, without any notification to the user. The data collected through this analysis then fed into Meta's broader AI systems. The recommendation algorithm used it to decide what content to show you next. The content moderation system used it to flag posts that might violate policies. The advertising system used it to understand your lifestyle and interests more deeply. Think of it like this. Imagine if someone followed you around, photographing everything you do and building an invisible profile of your habits and preferences without ever asking your permission. That's conceptually what this AI was doing. The scale is what made it particularly concerning. Meta processes billions of photos every single day across Instagram and Facebook. That means billions of images were being analyzed by this system automatically. So what did this look like in practice? Imagine you're a small business owner posting behind-the-scenes photos of your workshop. Meta's AI identified your equipment, recognized your location, understood the scale of your operation. That data fed into systems that started suggesting content from your competitors to other users. Or imagine you posted a photo at a mental health clinic. Meta's AI recognized the location and the context. Suddenly, your ads shifted toward health products and therapy services. Now you're being algorithmically flagged as someone with specific health concerns. These aren't hypothetical scenarios. Users reported exactly these kinds of uncanny experiences in the weeks before Meta pulled the feature. They noticed their feeds changing in ways that felt uncomfortably targeted. Some reported being shown ads for things they'd only discussed in private conversations, not because Meta was listening to their microphones, but because the AI had made such detailed visual inferences about their lives that the targeting felt like mind reading. Privacy advocates dug deeper and realized the scope of the problem. Meta was running this analysis on private accounts too, not just public ones. Users who thought their posts were only visible to close friends discovered the AI was analyzing those images with the same intensity. For people in sensitive situations, undocumented immigrants, people in abusive relationships, journalists covering dangerous stories, this kind of automatic visual profiling felt genuinely threatening. The feature wasn't technically illegal in most jurisdictions, but it existed in a gray zone where user consent was ambiguous at best. Meta isn't the first company to push aggressive AI features too far, but the difference in how they handled it matters. A few years ago, Amazon faced backlash over facial recognition systems being sold to law enforcement. Google got criticized for its AI image analysis in Google Photos. TikTok has been scrutinized for its recommendation algorithm that seems to understand users unnervingly well. In most of those cases, companies either defended the feature, made minor adjustments, or were forced to change by regulation. Meta's decision to actually remove the entire feature is unusual. It's closer to what happened in 2018 when Facebook disabled the off-the-shelf face recognition features in its photo app after pressure, but even that took years and continued criticism. What's different this time is how quickly Meta acted. The feature was only in place for a few months before being pulled. This suggests that Meta's leadership looked at the backlash and made a calculated decision. The damage to trust wasn't worth the business benefit. Compare that to how other tech companies operate. Apple, Google, and Microsoft all run AI systems on user content, but they frame it as optional features users can toggle off. Amazon defends its surveillance technology as a necessary law enforcement tool. Meta's move to not just adjust the feature, but remove it entirely sends a message. When user trust is at stake, sometimes the better business decision is to retreat. Understanding why Meta made this decision requires looking at the broader pressure the company was facing. First, there was regulatory attention. The European Union's Digital Services Act gives regulators power to scrutinize exactly the kind of privacy practices Meta was using. The United States Federal Trade Commission has been increasingly aggressive about challenging Meta's data practices. Meta's leadership knew that defending this feature could invite further regulatory action. Second, there was public pressure. Privacy advocates and journalists created enough noise that mainstream media started covering the story. Major news outlets published investigations into how intrusive the AI was. That kind of attention damages a company's brand and can affect user retention. Third, there's the trust factor. Meta has spent years rebuilding its reputation after the Cambridge Analytica scandal and repeated privacy controversies. Every new controversy chips away at the trust younger users particularly have in the platform. Meta's executives likely calculated that losing whatever business benefit this AI feature provided wasn't worth the hit to their long-term competitive position. But here's the deeper implication. This decision shows that tech companies aren't unstoppable forces. They respond to pressure. They calculate risks and benefits. When enough people care enough to push back, when journalists investigate, when regulators pay attention, when alternative platforms exist, companies will change course. The removal of this feature is a blueprint for how user pressure can actually work. It's not about asking nicely or hoping companies do the right thing. It's about creating enough business pressure that the company decides change is cheaper than resistance. Even though Meta removed this particular AI feature, the broader principle remains: these platforms are analyzing your data constantly. So what can you actually do about it? First, audit your privacy settings. Go into your Instagram settings, find the privacy section, and review exactly what permissions you've granted. You can restrict who sees your posts, who can message you, and whether your account is public or private. Making your account private means Meta can't use your photos to train recommendation systems for other users. Second, be mindful of what you post. Remember that Meta owns Instagram, and Meta also owns WhatsApp and Facebook. If you post sensitive information on Instagram, assume Meta's systems are analyzing it across all its platforms. Don't post things you wouldn't want targeted to you later. Third, consider limiting photo uploads. You don't need to share everything in real time. Waiting to share photos, limiting how many you post, or using private cloud storage for personal images reduces the data available for analysis. Fourth, use Instagram's built-in controls. You can turn off personalized ads, limit ad tracking, and see what data Instagram has collected about you. Go to Settings, find Ad Preferences, and review what the platform thinks it knows about you. It's often more detailed and specific than you'd expect. Finally, stay informed. Follow privacy-focused journalists and organizations that track these platforms. When the next controversy emerges, and it will, you'll see it coming and understand what's actually at stake. Meta's decision to kill this AI feature matters because it sets a precedent. It proves that even the most powerful tech companies will retreat when facing coordinated pressure. But don't mistake this for victory that means the problem is solved. Meta will continue building new AI systems. Google, Amazon, Apple, and every other tech company will keep deploying machine learning on your data in ways you might not fully understand. The feature is gone, but the capacity to do this kind of analysis exists, and the temptation to use it for profit remains. What this moment teaches us is that awareness and pressure work. You have more power than most of us realize. When you notice something uncomfortable about how a platform is treating your data, when you see a feature that feels invasive, speak up. Tell your friends. Support journalists investigating these companies. Contact regulators. That collective action is what forced Meta to make this change. Here's what to watch for going forward. Meta will likely rebrand some version of this analysis under a different name and frame it as optional. They might market it as an enhancement to user experience instead of a privacy concern. The tech will still exist, but the messaging will change. Your job is to remember what happened here and maintain healthy skepticism about what any platform claims to do with your photos.